Old School RuneScape these days almost always has at least 90,000 players online at almost all times, any day of the week. However, it didn't used to be that way. Just a few short years ago, the online player base would drop as low as 3,000, with highs reaching maybe around 20 to 25,000. Today, I want to explain why this happened and how it took until 2016 for Old School to become more popular than RS3. Oh, what's that? You just heard a Discord sound and nobody actually messaged you? Well, now that your Discord is open, you can just join mine. Before I get started with this video, I've decided I'm going to start using both my Discord and my clan chat again. If you're watching this video soon after it comes out, chances are I'm online in both. So click that link in the description below because I plan on having a lot of community events over the next few weeks. For this story, we need to go all the way back to 2013, when Jagex found an old backup of RuneScape from 2007, and you probably all know the story, but I'll repeat just a little tiny bit of it right now for those that don't. They put out a poll asking if players were interested in them reviving the game. Close to 450,000 people ended up signing this poll. Now, this poll had multiple tiers of rewards depending on how many votes it got. Because the votes didn't reach the maximum tier of 500,000, originally, we were going to have to pay an additional $5 a month to play Old School, so at the time that would have been around $15 a month for membership. We would have had no in-game polls, and Jagex may have not implemented any form of anti-cheat or bot detection. Luckily for us, they decided to toss all those out the window due to how much support the poll received. It's really important that extra fee didn't happen, but that's something we're going to get to later. Old School RuneScape officially launched in 2013, but to be honest, they maybe should have waited a little bit. This is because they had absolutely no tools to develop the game with. Not to mention the development team had 3 members. 3 members for an MMO that millions of people had played. Through all of 2013, almost every update was quality of life based or a bug fix, with the only 3 major ones being Nightmare Zone, Rooftop Agility, and the God Wars Dungeon. Nightmare Zone and Rooftop Agility were updates all made with assets that already existed in the game or were very easy to create. For example, the Nightmare Zone cave is a copy of the KBD cave and uses bosses that all already existed. The only reason 3 people could create God Wars is because it was mostly already completed in the backup of Old School that they had used. At first, Jagex wasn't even sure if it would be possible to release God Wars. Old School's first ever event, the Goblin Invasion, was used to test these tools and see if it was possible. This is a pretty niche event that not many people have really heard of, but to be honest, it might be for the best that it stays that way. I'm not trying to knock any of these updates because the Old School team worked with what they had, and in fact, it's quite impressive that really any of them came out in this time span. Now, the first of these, Nightmare Zone, came out in September of 2013. This means Old School went 8 months without any major updates, and by then a lot of people felt it was too little too late. The drop-off in player base was massive, and it took until mid last year to get numbers even close to initial launch numbers. By September of 2013, players had rushed through all of the game's content and had become bored with nothing new to do. Just imagine if that extra $5 fee had existed when Old School launched. I can confidently say I don't think the game would have survived the way it has today. Things like NMZ and Rooftop Agility didn't matter too much when most players were extremely high levels in both categories and could skip a significant portion of both of those activities. In 2014, Old School had a bit more stable player base with Slayer updates, Iron Man mode, and the Corporal Beast, boosting player counts a little bit here and there, but still seeing frequent dips. Regardless of this, endgame content was still mostly the same. Things started to change when Jagex introduced Zulrah. Suddenly there was a new location, new lore, a new actually challenging boss, and new best-in-slot items. This is exactly what Old School needed, and the player chart really shows. A month later came the Grand Exchange, and a month after that was free-to-play, and the growth was just absolutely insane. It's something that I don't think anyone in the community would have predicted. Although there was a dip afterwards, Old School recovered pretty quick. Old School was actually competing with RS3 for players for the first time in its history. Even on the month of Old School's release, it had an average lower player base than RS3. After this, a string of updates happened that today are more or less some of the most loved and respected pieces of content, and boosted the game to even more popularity. thus pretty much saving the game from its inevitable close. Things like mobile caused the game to grow even more when launching, and is put it where it is today. I see a lot of players complain today, more so before mobile came out, that the game is dying. It's just flat out not. It's even to the point where old school trends higher than WoW and vanilla WoW on Google results. If you want to see a point where the game truly was in danger, look back at 2013 when the player base was actually excited to see more than 20,000 players online. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, even though it was a bit of a short one. If so, feel free to drop a like below, and make sure to join the Discord. I will see you in the next one.